Hey, welcome back everybody. Back on the 65 Mustang after really not doing anything with it for over a month. It's been sitting in storage. Got it out today, took it for a drive, and man, these rear tires just rub too much. I probably need to buy new leaf springs, but don't really have the budget right now for that. So I think what I'm gonna do here quick today is I've got it jacked up, so they're supported on stands here. I'm gonna pull those lift blocks out in there, and I think they're only ½ inch or maybe 5/8, but try to get a little bit more clearance because right now this tire is just getting chewed up. Yeah, I want to be able to drive this thing with a couple kids in the back seat. So yeah, that's our first plan here. Here you go. Here you can see the lowering blocks I've got on here. So what I'm going to do is just loosen all these U-bolts, jack up the center of the axle a little bit, and hopefully not even take anything fully apart. Drop it back down and tighten them up. That should give me, like I said, I think those are 5/8, a little bit more tire clearance here. Oh crap, I forgot about this. I remember I'd made those bigger bushings so the springs have a small pin in it and the axle has a big hole in it. So I can't just pull that out. Darn it. All right, I might have to make a little spacer to go in there. Back at it here on another Sunday morning. Sadie's out here checking things out. I've been traveling, and while I was traveling, I decided just to order a set of springs. So they were sitting here when I got back. Of course, I forgot to order bushings, so I don't have those. So what I'm gonna do is measure a height right here, mark it on the blue tape, jack this thing up, and see where to go. These are the old 6-cylinder springs that are in this right now. They're probably worn out, sacked out. So I really don't know what the height's gonna be when I get these new springs in here. They're supposed to be 1-inch lowering springs. They've got the mid-eye mount, but yeah, I don't know where we'll end up. So get these under here and then we'll have to adjust our lowering blocks and give this thing a little bit more clearance and a little bit more spring, a little bit stiffer. So, all right, I'm gonna jack this, or first I'm gonna measure, then I'm gonna jack it up and start tearing things apart. All right, I got the car jacked up. The body's sitting on those yellow jack stands up front, and then I've got jack stands under the rear axle. So I think the next thing I'm gonna do is loosen those U-bolts and then come back here, you can see up in there, and pull those shackle bolts that are up on top there. Hopefully everything comes apart pretty easy. Good news and bad news. These shackle nuts are coming off real easy, but here on this passenger side, that frame rail around that bushing is a lot worse than I knew. So I might have to try to do something with that, whether grind that out and just temporarily patch a plate over it until I get back here and start doing the real sheet metal work. I don't know. Get the spring out of the way and grind that off and see how bad it really looks up there. Got both leaf springs dropped down. Some of the bushings look okay, like that one isn't bad, but looks like the majority are shot, so I don't have those. I'm gonna have to order it. Let me get these out here the rest of the way and see if we can compare overall heights. I don't know if that's even a thing to do, but pull them out there and set them side by side. There we go. So both springs are out. Here's a quick side-by-side comparison of the new 5-leaf mid-eye versus the old ones. So I stuck a punch through that end, kind of line up the eyes. Over here, you can see that the 6-cylinder one is gonna be way taller, but it's way softer. I can't really push on it while I hold my phone here, but that 6-cylinder one, I can take it, push it up and down. It moves real easy. The 5-leaf one is definitely stiffer, so I guess we have to get them up in there and see what happens. But I don't have bushings, so, and I gotta do some welding, do a little patchwork on that frame rail. So I think I'm gonna put the driver's side one in, just set it up in there, get it out of the way, and I guess then get out the grinder. Project scope creep is happening. Look at a pile of stuff that's on the ground there. All came out of that little hole. Looks like I'm trying to get it cut. I'll get it cut to where it's square, but inside here it's like double wall right around where the bushing is. So I think I'm gonna get this cut out pretty square and get an 1/8 inch piece of sheet metal or strap and just weld that in there. And it should be good. It's weird that, like, you know, this is all solid all the way up through here, but where that double wall was, I think it held salt or grime or whatever. There was a lot of rocks and crap in there. So I'm gonna get that trimmed up, squared up, and hopefully get it welded back in today. All right, well, I'm back out here. It's been a couple weeks. This thing's been sitting torn apart, but I have got a couple things done while I could. One is making up these little spacers that are hopefully gonna allow those springs to go on there without the lift or the lowering blocks. I've got to clean up my mess here, but I found a couple pieces of scrap sheet metal. I'm gonna try to get back under here and clean up this hole I started cutting. You can see that. Got to clean that up, make it look not so terrible, and try to weld that patch in there. It's going to be fun because this is all fairly thin and fairly rusty, but if I get it cleaned up, should be able to set one of those pieces in there after I trim it up and patch that up, and then get the springs on it, get this thing back on the ground. It's been sitting here for 2 weeks and I want to drive it before winter. Cut out this little cardboard template that fits pretty good up in there, and I just marked it off on this piece of sheet metal. It's going to need a little bit of more clearancing before it fits in there, but this is going to get me close, so I'll cut it out quick and set it up in there. Well, that was probably the easy part. Getting this crap to weld is going to be the hard part. It is going to be thin and hard to... So I guess I've got the welder turned down as far as I can go and ready to go for it. Going to try it. It's not pretty, but it could be going worse. I'm on about my 3rd round of going around and putting tacks like this all the way around it, grinding it down, looking for the holes and filling it again. Back here in the back, where are we at? Right back here in the back. I'm not sure if I'm able to get in that much better than it is, but I want the sides to be pretty good, so I'm gonna go grind this down, look for any other pinholes, and probably just about call it done. This isn't gonna be pretty, but I guess I'm happy enough with how it's turning out. It's not awesome, but at least it's on the bottom of the car and it'll be kind of fixed, maybe. Wow, this looks worse on camera than it does in real life here, but I'm out of time and I'm done for the night. So that's the way it's gonna look. Ground down the welds a little bit, but it's pretty thin there and I kept breaking through, so I left some of it and just pretty much stopped here. So now I'm ready to raise the leaf springs back up in here. Get this thing back on the ground. All right, well, I'm back. It's been another 2 weeks. I've missed the entire month of September having this thing drivable. It's now October, but it's time to get this back on the ground. I think what I'm gonna do today is put it together without the lowering blocks, those things right there. Just put my little spacers around there. I've got new shackles, new bushings. Hopefully it's gonna go together pretty quick. Get the spring in on this side, a little bit of anti-seize on that front bolt, and slap this thing together, put it back down on the ground, and see where it sits. Hopefully it's gonna sit about right. I might have went too aggressive with lowering it before. So yeah, I think it's slap the bushings in and springs in and get this thing together. Got a little grease on the bushings. axle's not up high enough to get this started. Ouch! All right, time to let the axle down and see if it lines up on the pins. One. All right, I'm gonna get this side started while I fight with the other side, just to make sure that this doesn't fall back apart or something. Get all the nuts going, the washers. Nothing's ever easy. You'd think this stuff should go right back together, but everything is a struggle. Gotta give that a little bit of a pinch for it to pop in there. That big U-bolt, and then what else is left? Should be pretty close to everything on this side. Hopefully, without the lowering blocks in there, this looks okay. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way. Those are snug enough for now. Let's get this out of the way. Okay. Now, over on this other side, if you can see, it's hard to see up there, but You gotta get that big dowel washer thing I made to pop down into that hole there somewhere. Where's it at? So fiddle around with that and get it to fall into place, hopefully. So close. Magic. All right, it's time to see if we did any good or not. Or if there's any lowering blocks, we can go back in. So we'll jack it up, pull the jack stands out, let it down, and see what it looks like. Here we go. Step back and take a look. I don't know, looks about the same. Grab my tape measure. It was 27.5, and now it's 26 5/8. So it's actually lower here. But it is definitely stiffer. I'm not going to go any lower than that, I know that. All right, I'm going to jack it back up, tighten everything back down, and take it for a test drive and see what rubs. Just took it for a little test drive, get the suspension loosened up, and now I'm going to double check my measurements. It looks like it's sitting pretty a little bit taller than it was before. I just drove it through some bumps that I know would have made it bottom out in the past. So let's take the tape measure here and check. So that old measurement said 26.5. Now it's pretty much right at 27. So that gained a 1/2 inch on this side. And check the other side. I think I might have said the numbers wrong before when I read it off in the garage. So right there it says 25.5 at that line. And it's now 26.5. So I guess an inch on this side. It's taller, but set out, accomplished the goal of let's not make the tires rub when you're just driving around with a couple people in the car. So that's looking better. What else? So I think I got to decide what's going to happen next with this thing. Winter's coming. Quarter panels are definitely on the list for the winter time. But I got to fix some other little things. The exhaust hangs down and looks crappy. The front bumper is drooping down and crooked on this other side. I think it's missing a bracket on the inside, so that's kind of annoying. The driver's window quit working, even though I had that working before. What else? I was thinking about maybe trying to dye the carpet. It's in pretty good shape, as you can see, like around that shifter there where it's black and then faded all around there. Maybe I'd try dyeing that. So I don't know. It's a beautiful day here. I think I'm gonna go take it for a little bit of a drive and just enjoy the day, enjoy the fact that the car's on the ground, and then start planning for winter projects. Thanks everybody for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Let's see if we can keep this growing.